Hi, my name is Dale. I'll move over here. And I'm in my second year of mechanical and sustainable engineering at DCU. So I'm doing 5 years in DCU. That's 4 years with a bachelor's plus a master's. Now, that's not supposed to make sense. I'm going to go through that in this talk. Um, but yeah, this is my second year in DCU. Um, Time is of the essence here. We've only got 15 minutes, including questions. There's so many good talks today, so I need to give time for everybody else. But I will have a link at the end, a QR code that you can scan, and it'll have a lot more information than the slides. It'll have the slides, but it'll have even more. Okay? So, yeah, really nice to meet you all. How many women in your class? I couldn't tell you. I'm not. I don't know numbers, and I'm not going to take a guess. Of course, we absolutely do have um, women in the course. I can't tell you numbers. Sorry about that. Hello to everyone that's just joining. I was just saying that because time is of the essence here. I'd like you to keep the questions coming in. I'll just put this in case you missed it. I'll leave 2 or 3 minutes at the end, but it's going to be a kind of fast-paced talk here, just so that you can get to the other talks because they're all brilliant. Okay, so let's go through. Let's quickly talk about DCU by numbers. DCU is one of the best colleges when it comes to employability. That means that when you're leaving DCU with your degree, the jobs are probably going to be there for you immediately. It's set up in a really brilliant way with the intra-work placement, which you'll see there, and we'll talk more about it. But it is really, really good when it comes to our numbers. You can see more about that on our website. This is the college as a whole that I'm talking about. But I won't talk about the college as a whole for much longer. I'll start to talk about my experience and how I ended up in mechanical and sustainable engineering. So, while I was in TY, I knew I would study a STEM course. That's because from a very, very young age, I just loved science. I love engineering. In third year, I really liked the engineering subject. Well, it would have been called metalwork. But everything just pointed to me that maybe it wasn't engineering, maybe it was physics, chemistry. It was going to be something STEM, though, for me. I wanted to be part of a problem solving team based environment. I think that's pretty natural. I don't need to explain that too much. But when it came to DCU in particular, I think what I was most excited by was an opportunity to engage in a fun and friendly college campus. I think that makes way more of a difference than other small things that are being advertised. Again, I will get to that, but DCU in particular is just absolutely brilliant for student life. So, moving on then, now I'm in fifth and sixth year. My leaving cert choices are, of course, shaped by the idea that I want to study STEM, but I know not everybody is feeling that way. I know some of you are studying subjects that aren't applicable to the STEM field, even though you'd like to study in the STEM field. That's okay. I'll talk about this now. But in our first year, a huge emphasis is put on catching people up when those leaving cert subjects aren't studied. Will it help if you've studied physics, engineering, chemistry, applied maths? Yes. But will you be permanently at a disadvantage? Absolutely not. Okay? So I really do want to emphasize that. First year, I'll move on here. First year is absolutely about catching people up and learning new things. So, for instance, what you're seeing here would have been studied by very, very few people before coming into college. Definitely not myself. This is my favorite part of first year in mechanical and sustainable engineering in common entry. So, when we study in engineering in DCU, that first year is common. I'm not just studying sustainable, I'm studying a lot of mechatronics. That would be electronics and mechanics. I'm studying lots of physics, chemistry, coding, everything that's applicable to the engineering field in general. A very good acid test for what you do and don't like within the engineering field is seen in our autonomous guided vehicle project. What that is, you might ask? Well, it was a project to design a car that could drive by itself, and you can actually find more about that on our videos that you'll find at the end. So now I'm in second year, and now I'm specializing in mechanical and sustainable. So it's a common first entry. Now I'm in sustainable engineering speciality. As part of that, my favorite parts have been the thermodynamics and interestingly, the design and solid modeling too. This is something that's not 100% applicable, but definitely on some level applicable. If you could understand, we're designing things in our virtual world before we're bringing them into the real manufacturing settings. So here's some other first year projects and assignments. You'll actually see the autonomous guided vehicle there. We draw that in SolidWorks, which is the design and solid modeling that we all study in first year, and that many of us keep on, not just sustainable engineering, but a lot of the other streams will keep this training going. So we do some software development projects as well. That was a lot of fun. And as part of our workshop introduction, we make a small scale aluminium model plane, which was a lot of fun. So here are the electronics. You'll see on the far right, this is a poster for actually something that's very applicable to us. It was our Fundamentals of Professional Development Sustainability project. It was about carpooling. We spent some time researching the field. We put together a lovely presentation. So I hope I'm not going too fast here. I just want to make it very clear that we are on the clock here, and I'm going to have loads of questions being asked at the end. So I just want to make sure that time is on our side. If you've got any questions now, I'd love to hear them with the chat function. I'm going to keep going. So now I'm in second year, as I've been saying. I keep the SolidWorks training going. SolidWorks is a company. They make educational software, but they also make software that people use in the real fields, in jobs, when they're designing solid models and simulations and a lot of other things that go on in engineering. So it's pretty important. For that reason, DCU will train you as a certified SolidWorks associate. That's what you'll see as a CSWA. So this is not a huge part of second year, but it's a very good example of the way that the college is looking after us as students by giving us qualifications that are recognized worldwide. We'll do some other labs as well. The mechanics of materials labs and thermodynamics were among my favorites. You'll see some of the setups there. So I'll stop here. I'll slow it down. This won't look great. This will look very, very wordy, and there'll be a lot of things that you don't understand here. I'm not going to spend time here. The module codes are just how we identify where we're supposed to be. The interesting part here are the titles. So these are the things we're studying in first year. Again, I won't dwell on this page, but they're all available on the Mechanical and Sustainable Engineering website, which will be linked at the end of this presentation. So this is left for me to talk about resit categories, but that's not as important right now. More important is to show you what is coming up in the second year as well. So there's some more titles here. Again, all available to you in the links at the end of the presentation. You'll see that there's a lot here. There's a great variety in what we're studying, and it's all very, very interesting. But again, I'm gonna move on because this is available to you. So I'm only in my second year, but I'm sure you're wondering what comes next. And I'm going to show you this here. It's a very nice idea that talks about engineering in DCU. After our second year of engineering, we go into work placement. We start our work placement and we do either 6 months or we do 10 months, okay? Those 6 or 10 months will have a huge impact on the way your degree is going. It will influence your final year project, and it will influence the job that you have after college. Your internship is the best opportunity to get into the field and not only learn new things that you didn't expect to learn, but also chase those things that you do expect to learn, that you want to learn. So I'll take this up here. I'm sure this is a little bit confusing. What I mean to say is that you're seeing 4 years here. That's a really good question. So what does the time period of work placement depend on? I'm going to come back to that in 1 minute, okay? The first thing I'm going to talk about is what we're seeing here, but it's a brilliant question and I will get back to that. So what you're seeing here is a funnel. It's getting more narrow as we go through, and that's because there's 4 years in the bachelor's in engineering, and in each year we're specializing. So no student will have the exact same experience with this degree, and that is a brilliant thing. It's a really, really good power to have as an engineering student to choose what you're studying. You'll have the full support of the entire faculty with whatever you choose. And best of all, when you're coming out with your degree, sure, you've got the paper, but there's a lot of people that have that paper. What you have that others don't is that niche experience. So it's personable? All right. So let's answer that question. What does the work placement time depend on? It depends on whether you choose to study for 4 years or for 5 years. If you're studying for 4, you're studying for a Bachelor's of Engineering. If you're studying for 5 years, you're studying for a Master's in Engineering. The difference between the two is almost entirely the amount of time you're spending studying a subject, but at DCU, the difference between a Bachelor's and a Master's also influences your final year projects. Maybe that's not entirely clear. So I think actually I'll ask you, Christos, does that answer your question, or would you like me to expand a little bit more on that? I'll keep going and I will come back to that. So here's our sustainability focused modules. I know what you're here for. Mechanical engineering is offered in other subjects, but I know you're here for the sustainability. And I think that's a really, really good choice. Now, throughout your years in DCU studying mechanical and sustainable, there is a huge range of topics within the subject that you'll be doing. Right now, a large majority of my time is taken up spending time studying specifically sustainable engineering. It's a new degree. Many of you might not know this, but this is a degree that's only 2 or 3 years old. So all of these have been developed very recently. All the notes are brand new. It's designed with the future in mind. Okay? So the future in mind. Let's talk a little bit more about that. Perfect, Christos. I will if I have time. If not, you can send me a message on the UniBuddy system because it's an interesting question. It's not one that I can explain within 2 or 3 minutes. But I will try, okay? If I don't get to it, you know what to do. You know to message me on the UniBuddy system, okay? So yeah, DCU Futures. DCU Futures is a really, really cool thing whereby they've taken 7 subjects. Sustainable engineering is one of them. Subjects, by subjects I mean degrees. They've taken 7 degrees and they've invested a large amount of money in them. Mechanical and sustainable engineering is one of them. It's an absolutely brilliant opportunity for us to get to do things that we never would have otherwise. For instance, multilingualism. So if you want to study a language within your time in college, that's available to you. You're getting the highest quality tutors and lecturers within the college for free, teaching on, I believe it's right now it's Tuesday evenings or Wednesday evenings, whatever it is. You know, one evening a week or maybe 2 even, you're sitting down with the best lecturers and tutors that the college has to offer for free multilingualism classes. So that's pretty cool. But what else do we have? Well, here's our internships. I'm going to skip that because I've talked a little bit about that already. Industry partnerships. Here we go. The Future Tech Building. This is a building that does not exist yet. What you're seeing is a render. And Ivana, any modules with quantum mechanics or how to engineer a quantum computer? Engineering and computing is the best. You should look into the degree in computing engineering. Sustainability, I cannot argue, is the best for that, but there are loads of resources about computing. So Future Tech Building doesn't exist yet, but it will, and you should look more into that. I'm running out of time here. Engineers Ireland accredited. That's it's just good. Here we go. We're at the end. So life on campus. I cannot recommend DCU enough. I am really involved in clubs and societies. It's absolutely brilliant. So to be honest with you, I don't know what's going to happen in the next couple of seconds because we're going to go after our time. We should be fine, but just in case we're not, here's the link. There is so much information on this link, including all the slides that I'm talking about. You know how to reach me as well through the UniBuddy system. I'm more than happy to take any questions that you have. Okay? So I'm not sure what's going to happen here. I know that I do need to leave at 15 or 16 minutes past. I don't know if the stream will shut down, but here is what you need. This QR code has plenty of information on how to reach me or how to reach all the other resources about mechanical and sustainable engineering. So Christos, I'll just answer that last question for you, by the way. The projects that take place are so wide in range. I don't know exactly what to say other than the fact that whatever you're taking from the degrees, for instance, any of these, picking a subject like this and spending 1 or 2 years dedicated after all of your study on solving one problem is usually what the final year project looks like. So loads of time and resources go into it. How many hours a week are you in for lectures slash labs on average? I would say if I was to take a quick guess right now, I am in on average, this is very rough here, but probably for 5 hours a day, 5 days a week. That's very rough. But if you actually want to see the exact timetable, um, you can check out what my timetable is. If you look up DCU open timetable, and you type in SSE2, which is my course code, you can see exactly what I'm studying throughout the week. Do you have any field trips to see how sustainable engineering works in real life? Um, there are some talks right now, so I'm going to say that probably yes. It's not 100% guaranteed, but among the field trips, there is plans, anyways, for trips to a hydropower generation plant in Wicklow as part of the thermodynamics and as part of the pneumatics and controls. There's a trip planned to a water treatment facility somewhere in Midland, Ireland. I hope that answers your question. So I'll go back to the QR code just in case anybody missed it. This is packed with information. It's going to have the slides that we've talked about today, some videos from the faculty, all the technical information about the course, and you'll also be able to reach me through Unibuddy, which is the platform that you're using right now to watch this event. So I can see some people heading out now. Thank you so much for your time. This will run until 20 past. No problem, Colette. And you're very welcome, Christos. So I'm going to go ahead and mute and stop my video, leave this until 20 past, because I do have to be elsewhere for 20 past. Thank you for staying with me. If you've got any questions, now is going to be the last chance to ask me right now. But if you're not asking me right now, you can use the Unibuddy platform. So I hope you've enjoyed my talk on mechanical and sustainable engineering. Here is the link for any more questions and information you might have. Goodbye.